We're in Proverbs 31. All right, verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The way that's worded, it kind of sounds like there might not be one out there. Who could find one? The word translated who could also be translated whoever. And you know, a lot of times with a sentence as well as with a word, where you put the emphasis matters, the emphasis, right? So let's read it this way. Whoever can, find a virtuous woman, because her price is far above rubies. She is more valuable than many rubies, okay? So whoever can, find one. Verse 11. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. That phrase, doth safely trust, comes from one Hebrew word. That one Hebrew word really means to hasten, to dash, to dart, to speed, to go. It's really a beautiful sentence. The heart of her husband dashes to her. He understands what a treasure she is, and his heart just rushes out to her constantly. Verse 12, she'll do him good, not evil, all the days of her life. That's a virtuous woman. If I might quote J. Vernon McGee from the 80s, maybe. You know J. Vernon, yeah. J. Vernon's back at radio show back in the 70s and 80s. J. Vernon McGee said, there's nothing this side of heaven any sweeter than a sweet woman. But there's nothing this side of hell any meaner than a mean woman. So I think that's what verse 12 is telling us. She'll do him good, not evil. She's not a mean woman. She's a good woman. Verse 13. She seeks wool and flax and works willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She arises also while it's yet night and gives meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. When I read all the things this woman does, I get tired just thinking about it. But we've talked about that before, haven't we, Bill? Okay. Verse 16. She considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hands, she plants a vineyard. Do you understand that punctuation was added by translators? It's not a part of the original text. Right? So, wouldn't it make more sense to read it this way? She considers a field and buys it with the fruit of her hands. Period. She plants a vineyard. Period. She generated enough income or wealth, whatever you want to call it, to buy that field herself. And I love verse 17. She gets up every morning and puts on strength like you'd put on a coat. She strengthens her arms, means she alerts them and awakens them. You understand, strength isn't just something that comes upon you. If you're going to be strong, you just got to decide to be strong. And that's what it's saying. She gets up in the morning, she just decides, I'm going to be strong, and she lets her arms know there's work to do and you're going to do it. Whew! I like her. She perceives that her merchandise is good. Her candle goes not out by night. She lays her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretches out her hand to the poor. Yea, she reaches forth her hands to the needy. She's not afraid of the snow for her household. Oh, he's not bothering us. She's not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She makes herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. When she walks around, she don't walk around frumpy. Man, she dresses, and she dresses nice. She understands what she's projecting out there, and when she goes out wearing her finest. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. That's just letting you know that she has a whole lot to do with his success too. Having that support at home allows him to be successful where he is and in what he's doing. She makes fine linen and sells it. She delivers girdles unto the merchant. Gives a whole new meaning to a stay-at-home mom, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
She's not watching soap operas and reading Harlequin romance, is she? Strength and honor are her clothing. There it is again. Talking about the way she dresses. She dresses in power and honor. And that word honor there means glory and splendor and magnificence. That's the way she carries herself. And when people see her, they see her magnificence. And she shall rejoice in time to come. See, if you paid attention to everything we read already, you understand that her job as a mother and as a wife is a hard, difficult, demanding job. But she understands it has rewards. Actually, look this up. It's a great word to look up. She'll rejoice in time to come. Word translated time is day, yom, day. To come is the Hebrew word that actually means to procrastinate. And the word translated what, rejoice there? That word means to laugh or to play. Laugh or play. This woman is bad about procrastinating. She's always procrastinating about the time she's going to have to laugh and to play. You understand that? She sees everything she's got to do and she sets her hand to do it, and she understands there'll be a day where she can relax more, but it's not today. And in other words, understand that when you're raising children, it's all consuming, but it always won't be that way. One day there's that empty nest, and one day there'll be more time, and she understands that, and she understands she's only got a set amount of time to invest in them, and she says, I'm going to procrastinate that time for me until after I've poured myself into them. That's a beautiful verse, actually. She opens her mouth with wisdom. Notice it doesn't say, she thinks that every time she opens her mouth, wisdom comes out. She thinks that no matter how much she blabs, every word she says is wise. It's not what it says. I think what that verse is telling us is she understands that every thought that she has is not necessarily a wise thought. And she has learned how to control those. But when she does speak, wisdom comes forth. And then look at that next verse. And in her tongue, E is in italics, in her tongue the law of kindness. What is the word for law? Torah. So here's what it says. In her tongue, Torah of kindness. So you could really take that one of two ways. What does Torah mean? Instruction. Instruction. So in her tongue is the instruction of kindness. That is, she instructs her family kindly. Not always barking and demanding and get this done. She instructs them kindly. Or you could take it this way, that she kindly instructs her family with Torah. She doesn't beat them over the head with the Bible, but she kindly and gently leads them into the ways of Torah. She looks well to the ways of her household. She eats not the bread of idleness. There's nothing about her that's idle. Her children arise up and call her blessed. The word blessed means to say good things about, so it means that her children rise up. As they grow up, they begin to say good things about the mother they had. They're on the level about how wonderful she is. Her husband, word also is in italics, her husband and he praises her. Her husband also says good things about her, but here's the great part. He praises her. This is the Hebrew word halal. Does anybody know what the word halal means? What might it be the front to? What word do you know that might start with halal? Hallelujah. Hallelujah means to be foolishly clamorous or clamorously foolish. It means to go overboard in praising somebody or something. So her husband doesn't hold back. She doesn't go to bed at night wondering if anybody even notices all the things she does. She doesn't go to bed at night wondering if anybody even cares about the things she does. She knows because he praises her and teaches the children to appreciate everything she does. Many daughters have done virtuously, but you excel them all. Favor is deceitful, beauty is vain. But a woman that fears Yahweh, she shall be halaled, praised and exalted. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates.